So whether it's on the big screen in The Dark Knight or on the small screen with Lego Batman, the Caped Crusader has undergone something of a critical resurgence in recent years. We're hoping to continue that trend at Rocksteady Studios here in North London. We're working on a game that's already being touted as one of the blockbusters of 2009.
When you've been around for 70 years, you can be forgiven for not always being on the top of your game.
Nice outfit.
That's certainly been the case with Batman, and the quality of the games has often mirrored that of the movie interpretations of this comic book veteran. From Burton's brilliant blockbusters,
Get those wonderful toys,
an Ocean's tasty tie-in in the late 80s and early 90s, to the shambles of Schumacher and attendant gaming mediocrity in the noughties.
Batman will watch his beloved Gotham perish.
More recently, Batman's enjoyed a revival in fortunes thanks to the very best of British. Traveller's Tales re-established the Caped Crusader as a gaming great in a joyous Lego outing based on the DC Comics series. But for Bruce Wayne's latest outing in Batman Archam Asylum, there could be no better warm-up act than The Dark Knight.
We're tonight's entertainment.
Thanks to the spectacular success of Brit director Christopher Nolan's brooding epic, Batman is big business again. And in another Brucey bonus for London studio Rocksteady, Pandemic's official tie-in game was scrapped, leaving the way clear for a trip to the asylum.
I think what was good for us is that obviously they have a sort of similar take, the sort of kind of mature, sort of quite dark take on Batman. It's very sort of similar to the style that we've gone for. We hadn't actually seen a single frame of Dark Knight until it came out in the cinema.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap and you sprang it gloriously!
That's something they did brilliantly in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and something we really wanted to get across in this game was this kind of psychological torment of the character, the fact that he's driven in a way, you know, beyond anything that any of us can understand, and he's driven himself to kind of physical perfection and mental perfection to kind of take down, you know, he's sworn to take down these forces.
The other similarity Arkham Asylum shares with The Dark Knight is one of expectation. The whispers in the run-up to Nolan's film suggested we were in for something special. And now the pre-release buzz for the game has been hinting at an experience among the very best of 2009. Should we, for once, believe the hype?
We've never really tried to tell people what to think about the game, you know, like we've really enjoyed working on the game and we really just want to make the best Batman game we can. You know, what people make of it and enjoy of it, that is totally down to them. So I really hope people enjoy it, and the feedback we've received so far is great.
Arkham Asylum is an original story set in the Batman universe, scripted by veteran writer Paul Dini. It ticks all the superhero styling boxes, but it's the gameplay that's got us most excited. Batman's acrobatic skills are exploited with a menacing grace, and when coupled with vast outdoor areas or intricately structured interiors, his movement is both a joy to behold and a ferocious weapon to deploy. And though he can't fly, fire candy floss out of his wrists, or warp into a pea green man mountain, the one thing Batman never leaves home without are awesome gadgets. And arguably the most important gadget at his disposal is Detective Vision, a visor which highlights enemies and key objects in dark areas, even through walls. It's a trick borrowed from Metroid, and a core component of stealth gameplay that requires you to plan your assault on armed goons rather than steaming in fists flailing. Although he is still rather tasty in a scrap.
So now we're going to go and speak to one of the guys in charge of the cinematic side of the game, and not just that, he also stars in the game too. So let's go and speak to Art. Hi Art, how you doing?
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Actually, I do just about a little bit everything in regard of cinematic. I acted as Joker, Batman, Harley at some point. Here, this is actually one of the biggest scenes in the early chapter. So basically this is the top view of the world, and this is the view that's getting featured through that camera right here. So here you see where the camera is backing out from the character, he's walking towards us. So if I scroll the time bar along, you can see the camera is tracking them.
That's how the finished article looks. Now let's see how they got to this point.
We had the concept art. We then have to make a high detail version of the model. This allows us to do all the wrinkles, all the little details, and then all that detail comes through in the low poly model. We take the low poly model and all the textures into Unreal, and here we have the final product.
We'll basically be given, say, a couple of months to build up the environment using the assets we have. What we do is we build a sort of basic structure of the levels, which is in this stuff called BSP, which is a basic building block. It's just square blocks of geometry that we'll then build up with assets to make it look nice. I like the fact we're not limited to the sort of Dark Knight franchise. I think it's like our own IP near enough. We sort of do what we want, we pick the best bits from the Batman universe and just go ahead and build.
The in-house talent is backed by some top celeb names, with Luke Skywalker voicing the Joker, a role he played in the animated series.
Hey, Sharpie, love what you've done with the place.
Yo, Frankie, how's the wife and kids? You miss me?
Shut it, clown! A lot of people here really want to talk to you.
That's our thing, yeah? So it's a tiny little bit of kind of musical sort of DNA that is in every bit of music in the game. Really what we've got is one theme. We've got like a monothematic game. And that theme changes depending on what you're doing.
The storyline of the single player is being kept under wraps for obvious reasons, but Bat fans can expect to bump into some familiar faces. Additionally, challenge rooms offer up a chance to hone skills and take your place on global leaderboards. And PS3 owners will be able to tackle these areas from a very different perspective as the Joker.
It is, because Joker, there's obviously only certain things he can and can't do, and he doesn't have all the technology that Batman has, but then he doesn't have the same kind of moral code that Batman has, so it does make a difference to how you play and approach the game.
The Joker will be a day one download exclusive to PS3. As for other playable characters further down the line,
I can't really say at the moment.
For the team of 65 in their swanky North London studio, the prospects look good. And if the CVs aren't piling in already, they will be once people see the disco toilet.
Right, as you can see, the studio is pretty damn cool, but the vibe carries as far as the toilets, believe it or not. So just follow me in here. If your bowels are beginning to swell with ready-to-pass foods and you're making a rush for it, this is what you have to look forward to. Neon disco lights in the toilet, kind of cool artwork everywhere. What you can't experience, of course, is the really bad smell. The kind of smell you only get at a development studio. Let's get out of here. Jesus, I feel sick. Ugh.
Batman is one of these characters who's so popular, he's owned by the fans. He's owned by the fans, and so it's going to be down for players to get their hands on it and enjoy it. But I'm really proud of the work that the team have done. It really is the game that we wanted to make. It is the vision that we originally had for Batman, and so I think we've made a really authentic Batman game with the DNA running through the whole experience. And I think we've also made a really fun game, a really enjoyable game. And all the feedback we've received till now has been so positive. So, I just can't wait for people to get their hands on it.
Batman Archam Asylum is coming to Xbox 360, PS3 and PC on August the 28th.